Sun Devil fans, Jaylee Merrill here for DevilsDigest.com, and I'm here with publisher Hode, Rabino. Hode, thank you. We're about an hour before kickoff, and Hode, I wanted to ask you a couple questions. So the Washington offense is the top scoring in the Pac-12. They haven't put up very impressive numbers in the running or passing game. What do you think that ASU is going to do to neutralize this?
Well, I think what's really impressive about Washington is that their offense is really, really balanced. So you're right. They are the top scoring team in the Pac-12. And with all the firepower we have in the conference, that's something really impressive. But their rushing game and their passing game numbers are literally the middle of the pack on both. So yes, they have that offensive balance, and obviously in that case, you want to make sure that you take that balance away from them. And in my opinion, if they need to rely more on the pass, and Jake Browning, who hasn't been all that great, at least in my opinion, this year, I think that can go a long way. Another thing is this is an offense of Washington that starts out really, really slow. So I think if you can put more pressure on them, and again, shut down the rushing game, force them to beat you with Jake Browning's arm, I think that's a recipe for a possible upset tonight.
Husky defense is dominating in nearly every aspect of the statistical category, but what is the ASU offense going to do tonight that is going to combat that?
I think it's an offense, it's a defense, for Washington that's really susceptible for a high-tempo team, and I think that's something really it's in Arizona State's wheelhouse to play at a fast tempo. So I think if they can establish that early and often, that can really, really help them. Again, we talk about the slow offensive starts by Washington. I think they put more pressure on the Washington defense, maybe to make mental mistakes they're not used to, just trying to make up the deficit. I think that's something that really can help Arizona State. They just need to make sure that they just keep their offense balanced, because again, that's a recipe that works very well for Washington. But Arizona State really, I feel, has to take a page from the Husky playbook and be really balanced with the running game and the passing. Make sure that Washington's defense, on the other hand, doesn't really force Manny Wilkins to carry this offense, because we saw pretty much all year long when Arizona State plays well, let alone wins, we see a balanced running and passing game by Arizona State. And I feel that the rushing game has showed a lot of improvement against Stanford, but was shut down in the second half. So this offensive line is going to have a heck of a time against a really strong defensive line by Washington, a defensive line that can bring a lot of pressure only with 3-4 linemen. So I think just like every game, if Arizona State can establish a line of scrimmage, that again can be a recipe for a possible upset.
Along with establishing the line of scrimmage, what do you think are going to be the keys to a victory tonight?
Well, one thing I haven't talked yet about is special teams. Arizona State special teams, I felt, have been somewhat shaky all year long, and Washington has a great punt returner in Dante Pettis. So Arizona State's punting game, even prior to this week, has had its issues. They need to make sure they don't kick to Dante Pettis no matter what they do, and really win the special teams battle. Another thing that's kind of overlooked with this Washington team is that they're actually last in the Pac-12 in field goals, only made 5 out of 10. So I think Arizona State would be more than happy to take their chances if it came down to a field goal opportunity. But obviously, on the other hand, Brandon Ruiz has to make sure he makes each of his opportunities. And I think Arizona State, look what happened last night on Friday the 13th. Syracuse goes down, Washington State goes down. Arizona State's probably thinking, why not us? And again, we've seen some improvement in the last few weeks. There's no doubt in my mind that Arizona State has to play their best game of the year to win this game. But like I said, make sure that they keep their balance on offense and create an imbalance on the opposing offense of Washington. That can be a possible upset tonight.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to a good game. For all the latest in ASU football, keep it right here for DevilsDigest.com.